There's a book that wrote itself. How do I know this? Because I was there. Not in person, of course, but in spirit, as it were. And it wasn't just any book. It was one of those self-help books that are so popular these days. You know the ones I'm talking about? They have titles like The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, or How to Win Friends and Influence Them. And the covers usually feature some soft focus photo of a person who looks like they re-deep in thought, or maybe they just lost in the contemplation of how best to arrange the cutlery when they get their takeout containers. I mean, who has time to read a whole book these days? I'm surprised anyone reads at all. We live in a culture that prizes speed over substance. If people find value in them, good for them. But it's important to be able to recognize when something is written purely for the purpose of making money. And sometimes it's obvious that something is written purely for the purpose of making money. In this case, the signs were right there on the cover. We like our entertainment fast, and our books, well, we like our books to look like they have lots of pages, you know? Because we've been conditioned to think that more must be better. But this book, it was too much effort. By the time I got to the last few chapters, I was ready to give up. But I thought to myself, no, you started this, you're going to finish it. So I pushed on, and I was rewarded by reaching the final page. Anyway, I was browsing in a bookstore once and came across a new release in this genre. Thanks for the life-changing advice. Book that wrote itself. I put you in the same category as those fortune cookies that say a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Yeah, thanks. I'm going to go now and do that. Now, as someone who's spent many years in the publishing industry, I can usually spot a fake leather cover and gold embossed title from a mile away. But this one had me fooled. It looked legit, like something that would have been on the New York Times bestseller list, so I picked it up and started reading. That's when I noticed something strange. The writing was terrible. I don't mean it was badly written or poorly edited or anything like that. That advice like never settle for less than your dreams, or you can be anything you want to be if you just try hard enough, you know? The usual garbage you find in these kinds of books, which isn't garbage to people who haven't yet learned to think for themselves. Then I got angry because the writing was so bad. At one point, the author said something along the lines of, "When life gives you lemons, make lemonade, unless you don't like lemonade. In which case, I don't know, throw the lemons away." My guess is that this was supposed to be an inspirational message about being resilient in the face of adversity. But if life is giving you lemons, maybe you'd prefer to get a different kind of fruit. Maybe you want oranges or apples, I don't know. The point is, if you don't like lemonade, then it's not helpful to be told to make lemonade. It's just stupid. I mean, it was genuinely awful. The author had clearly never attended school, or perhaps they did, and their brains simply chose to disregard everything they learned after the 3rd grade. Regardless, I found myself thinking, who is this book for? What kind of person would read this and actually believe it? And then I realized with a start that I was exactly the sort of person who would buy this book. I could see my name on the spine, so I was pretty sure it was for me. So here's what happened next. As I continued reading, I got more and more angry. First, because the content was bad. Still, I kept on reading. I wanted to get to the end of the book, but the problem was that I couldn't stop skimming. It said, "Remember, you are amazing just the way you are." Now let's be clear, this story isn't to mock self-help books per se.